This is our Python implementation for classification of two hand signals about and farther using SVC classifier, that is support vector classifier, and DecisionTree classifier using the sklearn library. We use pandas package for reading the CSV files. As you can see here, these are the features of the hand signals. Here we extracted all the features from the CSV file and we labeled the classes. There are 194 samples of father hand signals and 236 samples of about signals. We randomized the training data and took 33% of the data as the test samples. First, we implemented the SVC classifier. We trained on the default parameter values of the support vector classifier. We achieved 48.59% accuracy, which is very low. Then we move on to the grid search, which performs a search on all the parameter values and gives us the best parameter values for this classifier on this data. We performed a 5-fold cross validation, and the parameter values provide us with 95.07% accuracy on the test data. Second, we implemented the DecisionTree classifier using the same default hyperparameter values, and we achieved 93.66% accuracy. On using the grid search on DecisionTree classifier for these parameters, we got accuracy of 95%, 0.07% accuracy. Then once the training is done on both the classifier, we have our weights. We needed to move those weights onto the Android Studio for the classification in Android. We use the Porter library for the same purpose. It creates a Java file, one for SVC classifier and another for DecisionTree classifier. The Java file contains lot of information regarding these classifiers, and finally it contains the weights and the parameter values. So a second file is generated for the DecisionTree classifier, and then finally we move all these values and the parameters onto the Android Studio for classification in Android. This is our Android implementation of the hand signal classifier for two hand signals. One is for father and another is for about. So the main activity class is the anchor for the Android code. As you can see, the main activity class has an onCreate function which builds the interface, and there are two buttons, run SVM and run DecisionTree. Send message button deals with starting the activity when a button is clicked. There are other functions like on create option menu, on option item selected menu. There is a file chooser class which gets the path of the entered file and extract the data from each of the columns of the CSV. And apart from that, there are two classifiers. One is DecisionTree classifier, another is SVC classifier. These two classifiers are extracted from the Python implementation using the Porters package. And there are feature files This is the CSV file, which CSV class, which reads the CSV which is entered as input, and this feature extractor class extracts the features from the entered CSV file. And finally, there is a file or display message activity class. This class mainly concerns with the displaying the messages or output on the Android screen. There is an onCreate function. Apart from that, there is a perform file search function. This function deals with searching the file, and when a button is clicked to enter a file. And this function processes the CSV files, and here you can see it makes uses of the CSV file classifier file class, and it extracts the features, reads the CSV file, extracts the features, and it uses the classifier, SVC classifier, and then classifies the data which is entered, and it does the same thing for the DecisionTree classifier. It predicts based on the features entered, and finally based on the estimation it prints the output on the Android screen if it is a about and if it is a further, and the actual label is also printed just below the classified result. So this is the total implementation of our Android code. This is our Android app for classifying two hand signals, father and about. Let's open the app. As you can see, there are two options. One is to run an SVM classifier, another is to run a DT classifier. Let's run SVM first. It asks for a CSV file. Let me give an input file to it. As you can see, the actual label of the example was father, and we have classified it correctly as a father. Let's move back and try the DecisionTree classifier. Similarly, let us give another CSV file as an example. Here also you can see the hand signal about has been correctly classified as about.